Okay, doing something a little different today. Um, I'm working at a camp this weekend, filming, so I wasn't gonna have time to edit over the weekend for Monday. So I'm actually not doing the Instagram video this week because I want to focus more on quality instead of quantity. Um, because to me, that's what I want to produce good things and not just a lot of things. There's a lot of people out there that produce just a bunch of stuff to try and get views, and that helps, but that's not what I want to do. I really want to make quality content that people enjoy, and I hope this is something that someone will enjoy. But yeah, so this is going to be a video about editing and editing photos specifically. So if you're like new to photography and you want to see like the editing process, or you're just interested in what that looks like, this is for you. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into that. I'm gonna record my screen here. All right, here we go. I like this little POV right at my mouse. I don't know what that was. All right, so we have this image. Several different like photos here of someone I took photos of yesterday. But the one that I want to edit right now is this one. I just really liked this framing, this shot with the tree, the fountain, campus. Looked really cool to me. Was not planned. We were just walking and I saw this and I thought it would be a cool shot. So this is what we're going to edit. And from what you can tell from the other photos, it was a rainy day. This was yesterday. So I'm really hoping that I can make these warmer, but still stay true to kind of how the day was. So yeah, so we're gonna start with this photo. This is what we're gonna edit today. And typically, I start with a preset. Now I have some presets that are my own. Nothing incredibly special. I want to actually buy a preset, but for now, I'm gonna be working with my own. Most of them honestly don't look good on the majority of photos, but the ones that say craft blue and orange, craft BO, craft cinema, craft green are typically the ones I go to, and I've already looked at these and they don't look great. Oh, see, they don't look great for this image. That one's not bad. That one is all right. Don't really like that one, but this one I think is really good. It's a little too extreme, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna dial this back to 20, maybe 30 something, 50%, 52%. So we have our preset now. It's already taken it from this to that, and to be honest, that's really good. I'm a fan of that. But there's so much more work you can do to it. So let's go over here into the main editing tab and see what we can play around with. So I really want contrast to shine. I like shadows. I think shadows are an important part to adding depth. So I'm actually going to bring these back down. My preset moved those, but you know, preset's just a starting point. Yeah. So the idea with this preset is actually that it's cinematic, and something that they do on cinematic edits for movies is in the tone curve they will adjust the highlights to be a soft roll off and the shadows to be a soft roll off. So that's what these are. Your true blacks are rolling off and your true whites are rolling off, which sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't. But for this scenario, I think I'm going to use it. Yeah, because this is the image without my tone curve. This is the image with it, and I'm a fan of that. So we're going to do that. Now this is a really heavy green image. I'm not sure that adding pink's going to work, but we're going to try. It's looking good until we get into his highlights right around here. Want to avoid that, I think. But that's more of a mid-tone. like skin tone. So I think we do something like this. I think that would look. Actually, maybe push a little green in the shadows. Yeah, I can get behind that. All right. Right now we're sitting at 5400 temperature. That is not what this was shot at. That's what my preset changed it to. And I like it, but I kind of just want to explore. That's the original. Don't like that. Which this was, I mean, honestly, I was nervous because it was raining, but it's looking like these images are going to come out really well because we're going to be able to make them look a little less freezing and rainy, a little more sunny. I think we'll just do it like nice 5,000 right there. I feel like this image is a little saturated, so we're going to pull that down. And it's mostly the greens that are saturated, and I feel like the greens are a little too yellow in this scenario. We're going to actually push a little more green back into it. Okay. Yeah, we like that. Now his skin tone's messed up a little bit, but we will get to that here in a little bit. These oranges might mess it up even more. I think we go with a +8 on that, and maybe up the luminance, which is just like how bright it's shining. At least that's the way I would describe it. All right, what are our yellows? Oh. Okay, I think we are going to saturate these yellows because that looked really good. Now we could push it more toward orange, but we're getting these little blown out areas, which you never want to have. So we're gonna actually dial that back. Maybe that's not even our yellows. Maybe we're talking red. Okay, I think that's our red. So we're gonna actually dial that back a little bit, and we're gonna try and figure out what that is. I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't know that it's anything anymore. I think that's to a point where that looks natural. I don't know what that is. If we care, we can fix that at a later point. I'm not sure that I'm going to mess with it because it's very, I mean, it's honestly, I'm pretty nitpicky about things, and that's pretty unnoticeable. So you'd have to be looking pretty hard for that. I'm going to boost these teals because it's definitely doing a lot to the waterfall. Not going to boost them this much, but we're going to boost those for sure. It's not doing much to his shirt, so we don't really need to worry about that, I don't think. Let's go +50, see what color we like, and I think we're going to go with that. Maybe we dial back the saturation a little bit. +25. I think that looks good. And then we like his shirt, I think, being a little like this, like teal, dark-ish blue. Not dark blue. I don't know why I said that, but it's more blue. I mean, here it is. It was blue shirt, but it's looking purple in this without the color adjustments. So we're gonna push a little teal into it from the blue tab, and yeah, I really like where this is at with our colors. Now, something I usually do with my color wheels are I like to start in global, which this preset does not have stuff already done to the color wheels. I mean, it does, but not as much as I usually do. So this is pretty much from scratch. The global, I like to push in oranges. It's honestly not much, but I think that's where, I mean, I think 9 is good enough for the scenario. We play around with the luminance. And I don't really, sometimes I don't like to look at the slider. I think I just kind of like to play around back and forth and see what spot looks good to me. And this spot looks good. It's actually +36. I would not adjust that, but I like that. So highlights, we also push more orange into. I think I'm gonna go a little more orange here. I don't know why this pops up every time I try and edit. That looks good to me. Middle ground, I don't really want to push green into it. but I'm not sure what I want to push, if anything. Maybe more of a yellow, and make it really, really subtle. I mean, that will probably be next to unnoticeable. Yeah. And then I'm thinking we push some dark blues into our shadows. Stop. That's looking good to me. These are without color wheel. With color wheel, obviously just a preference thing. But yeah, I think I like that. Now, there's still more to do with it because you can adjust the luminance for each, and I think I'm gonna bring my shadow luminance down, my midtones maybe up a little bit, and my highlights I'm going to also slightly bring up. Then you have blending. I think I'm gonna go 42. And then balance, we want to kind of make it a little unbalanced in this direction. So yeah, that's our image. We have very minor tweaks to texture, clarity, and dehaze because this image looks good. I mean, this was the original. This is it now. I like that. And you could leave it here. I feel like, you know, you could turn this over to somebody and they'd be pretty satisfied with it. But as a photographer, if you want to stand out, something you should do is start masking. And so I don't really touch my texture, clarity, or dehaze until I'm masking because I think that makes a bigger difference. I like to kind of have a general slight tweak to some of those in certain scenarios and then manually adjust aspects of the image in masking. And then I usually use texture, clarity, and dehaze a lot for this. So yeah, start with background. So the background, I think I do want to bring up background literally hardly whatsoever. Maybe just point 0.1. Contrast, I could go for more contrast because that's kind of my thing, but I do feel like most people kind of want to be able to see the whole image. But not that I would ever really push it this far, but like I could see myself doing this plus 25, but I think I'm going to do more of a negative 23 because I think that that's a better all-around image. I feel like it could go either way, but for this specific image, that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to bring the highlights down because I think it gives good texture to the fountain. Over like right in this area, it's making a big difference. So we're actually going to bring our highlights down, which is not what I would have expected to do. So in return, we'll bring our shadows up just to try and help out the overall lighting in the image. Oh, so that's the original. This is it now, but this is before the mask. So already we're seeing a huge difference, and we've only created one mask, and we've really only touched exposure, contrast, highlights, and shadows. So 4 things. Not much at all. I think the background might be a little saturated. Man, it could go either way. I like it a little more saturated. I like it a little desaturated. So we're gonna go ever so slightly both ways and see which we prefer. I think I'm thinking this. Texture, I kind of want, you know, that slightly blurry background. So we're gonna bring texture down. We're gonna bring clarity down. And then dehaze, we're probably gonna bring that up. Yeah, I think I like that. Now, gonna add a subject. All right, so we want our subject to, I like my subject to pop a little bit. Doesn't make a huge difference, but it does, if that makes sense. So I kind of like the contrast in them to be a lower, but to where it's unnoticeable. Like you wouldn't look at this and be like, oh, they they've edited just the subject. But if you look at this, you might be able to tell that he's kind of looking closer. He looks sharper. So yeah, this is just kind of something I do. I really like bringing up this because we get to see the color of his suit. And I'm honestly tempted to take all the shadows away on that because that looks really incredible. Probably leave it around 62. Wow, that's information I didn't realize was there, which is why you typically shoot in RAW, so that you can get that information, so your camera picks up information. That's what RAW is. It picks up the most information, gives you the most to work with. So we could saturate him up a little more, which I think we're gonna do. Give him some texture. Now, I'm usually hesitant to do this because it really messes up their face a lot of times, and so we're just going this way. But I really want to see the texture of his clothes because he's got this nice like plaid on. So what we'll do here is probably do like +2, maybe mess around with the clarity. Again, +2, and then -2. Sharpen him up a little bit, and then if there's any noise reduction, I usually just kind of boost that. But like I said, I really want to see the textures of his clothes. So what we're going to do here is select the object mask, outline his body, and hopefully that'll pick up the entire outfit. And then sometimes it doesn't, which it appears to not have. So then I'm going to try this way of literally just scribbling it in. And now hopefully it does. Fingers crossed. Okay, I got most of it. We need to get his t-shirt, or not his t-shirt, but his undershirt in there. And it's really fighting me, so now we're just gonna do this area. Okay, now we can enhance the texture of just his clothes, and I honestly kind of think his clothes would look even better with a little more saturation. Enhance the texture, maybe enhance clarity, maybe de-enhance it, honestly. Let's go down on it. I think it looks better lower. Yeah. All right, I like that image. And so what you can see masking is doing, masking, you can edit literally just specific areas. So this was the image that I said I feel like anyone would be satisfied with. I mean, it's good. And it's better than the original. But it's like you can take it so much further when you add masks. I mean, 3 masks, and I've been able to really make my subject pop. And I really like that. I don't know that there's more to mask. Usually I do a lot more. I think I will. I mean, I will do a couple of things. Face skin. We'll jump in that here. What's great about Lightroom is it can literally just detect the face. And I usually get close when I do this because it does make a little bit of a difference. I'd like to be able to see it. Maybe a little more color in his skin. I'm not really sure. Definitely not that. So at that point, it starts to look weird for sure. My computer's starting to freak out a little. So I think we're doing a +20 saturation. Really trying to help that out. Clarity. This looks different on every person I edit. So I really always mess with this. And I never know which direction I'm going to go. I think I might add a little. Nope. What? Well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what happened. I think this is the clarity just updating on my computer. There we go. I think that's better. Then we look at it from the larger image, and I think that looks really good. Typically, I like to check the people's teeth because no one really wants their teeth to look yellow. Not that they necessarily are, but you can always make your teeth look whiter, which is wild, but it is a fun and easy thing to do. I usually boost exposure a little bit. Typically, I bring down contrast, then I desaturate, and then I add clarity. I believe is usually my process. Oh, yeah, I add clarity. Just things being slow. And then we look from far away and we see, does this look weird? And I don't think it does. I think it's looking okay. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. So, usually, I don't know how this is going to look on this, but I'm going to go ahead and try. Usually I add a fake sun. You know, I'm not going to do that. I'm really not. We're in the shadows. That's maybe for a later video, but you can usually add some sun when there's like highlights being shined. Like right now, there's some sun coming in through my window, and there's some highlights right here. I usually will brush along this area and kind of make that a little more orange, a little more saturated. Maybe take away some dehaze in order to kind of make it look a little more blown out, a little whiter, just so that in extreme circumstances where there is that really harsh line, you will see like a source. Even though you're not seeing the source directly, you can be like, oh, there's the sun. It just kind of tricks the eyes into thinking there's the source, which the source is there, but you're just making it a little more extreme so that if it looks dramatic on the face, it looks dramatic elsewhere. That's just something I do. I've seen other photographers do it. I'm sure there's photographers that don't. I personally think that it looks good. But yeah, so this image was this, and I was really nervous. Very rainy, very dark, very blue, very green, but this is the image now. And to be honest, I'm very satisfied with that. I do feel like my image isn't as sharp as I would want it to be, but I think that's really good. I think that might have been a camera issue, user issue, but I think it was made in camera. But I think that overall, like, that's really good. And like I said, I'm nitpicky, so maybe you don't see what I'm talking about. But I feel like there's a little bit of noise that I wish was not there. So we can try and actually take that out here in post, because I don't think I've messed with it yet. So yeah, let's just go ahead and add a little noise reduction, see what it does. And I don't know if you can see it, but I'm glad I did it. So yeah, that's the final image. I hope that you enjoyed this. I'm not sure that you actually stayed the whole time, but if you did see this, please drop a like